Okay, well, first video for a while. I made some short ones, but I haven't put them on YouTube. I might just put them on YouTube just for a challenge. Let's have a look at some of my updated graphs now. UK versus Italy deaths. This is up to about the end of May. Of course, the big spike in deaths, the UK there, where we added 4,500 in a day. Here are our curves. Obviously we're still motoring on, whereas the rest of Europe has diminished a lot. That's till late May. Okay, but let's not worry about those things. I'm going to look at some of the other things. Okay, this is what's happening with the UK's new deaths. This is up to tonight's WHO report, which was actually the 11th of June, and you see that my low forecast for deaths, which was 27,793, which has of course been exceeded a while ago now, and the high forecast of 50,000. Let's see what it looks like if I change the scale on this. This is a log scale. Okay, let's just put it as an ordinary scale, and of course you get that huge spike on that particular day. Let's just make that maximum 2,000 to get rid of that spike and see what it looks like. Well, it's kind of halfway in between, isn't it? And that looks suspiciously like some sort of weekly cycle here. Okay, so they're not recording many deaths at the weekends or something. You've got five high points and then 2 low points, if you notice. Okay, but we're somewhere between those two forecasts. I mean, we've reached about 40,000 deaths, and it's lingering. It's actually lingering more than my forecast curve, even more than the pessimistic one. So it looks like it's kind of going down here somewhere and out here, isn't it? So my pessimistic forecast of 50,000 deaths, it could exceed that because it's starting to go over that line. That's not good news. We're at about 41,000 already, so that's not good, and it's going to persist. Okay, it sort of looks, I don't know which looks better, which looks worse, actually, to be honest. Remember, of course, there's also the 4,000 deaths at this point, which goes up to the ceiling nearly now, which was, I suppose, a bunch of care home deaths that was added. Okay, UK forecasts, that's the total cases. I'm not even looking at those really. I mean, it's somewhere between 300 and 400,000. Well, we are getting there anyway now. I'm not quite sure how many cases we've got. Let's have a look at these are some more recent graphs. This is more relevant. Okay, UK versus China. How well have we done on containment? You notice China had that 18,000 extra cases that they put on one particular day. Let's just change the scale of that to get rid of that so we can see it a bit more clearly. I mean, look, it's taken us so much longer to contain things than China did. Okay, very, very poor containment compared to China. Yeah, this was probably one of my old ancient forecast curves or something, but look how narrow that epidemic curve is compared to ours, and smaller. Okay, a larger epidemic curve, the way they drew it on some of those government diagrams, is not necessarily a higher one, isn't necessarily narrower. Actually, basically the worse you are at containment, the higher and the wider it's going to be. So let's have a look at GB versus Italy. Italy in red, GB in green. And you can see the distance here between, what was I looking at, a certain level of cases, something. Brackets show UK falling behind Italy and reducing the peak numbers past the peak. So here was the actual peak, okay, of UK and Italy. This is when we got to 2,000 cases a day, and this is going to get down to about, I don't know, 400 cases a day or something like that. And there's a bigger gap between the two countries as you go. So we're obviously on a more shallow downtrend. Look, versus France, we're on a more shallow downtrend. Got a lot more cases versus Spain. The same thing. Spain had a higher peak, but it's come down much faster than we have. I wonder why. Germany, same. Peak about the same height, come down much faster. Okay, this is my forecast curves versus the real. It's following very well on the actual cases. Germany is, yeah, getting a little bit above its forecast there, its forecast curves maybe. France, these were fairly crude forecasts anyway, and it's sort of pretty much sticking to it a little bit. They're doing a bit better than those forecast curves actually. Spain and Italy, which I spent more time on, Italy's following the forecast curve absolutely spot on. So the Italy forecast, I haven't modified these forecasts since the 20th of April, so and here we are now on June the 11th or June the 12th early morning. Haven't modified these trend lines for all those days for a month and a half, and still my Italy is coming absolutely spot on. I'm looking for about 240,000 cases for Italy. Let's see where they are right now if I can in time. Italy is at currently 235,000 and increasing extremely slowly, and we are at 290,000. Okay, that's my broadcast for today. It just shows that we are doing worse than most of Europe. Well, yes, considerably worse, and our containment is not nearly as good. So after all those ridiculous marches we just had, our containment's going to get even worse. Okay, bye for now.